I slowly opened my eyelids and stared at my alarm clock. 6:30. I jumped out of bed and ran to my closet. I had to get changed fast. It was the day of the annual Bethel's Beach trip, and we had to be at school at 7:15. After I had packed my lunch, towels, and togs, I jumped in the car and we drove off. By the time I was at school, everyone was still yawning and waking up. After the roll was taken, we all loaded onto the bus at 7:30 a.m. The bus trip was a long one, and within 10 minutes of the trip, everyone had their cell phones out and music was playing loudly. An hour and a half later, we arrived at the surf club hut. When we hopped off the bus, it was drizzling with gentle rain. The lifeguards led us into the club where we sat down on the hard wooden floor. The lifeguards introduced themselves. They were Sam and Hira. They talked to us about the history of the surf club and how long they had been there. Next, they showed us around the club. First, they showed us the first aid kit room where they had a stretcher, a bed, a first aid kit, and a sink. They showed us what they did when there was an emergency and put Lauren on the stretcher. After we trudged through the soggy grass towards the shed, they showed us the IRB and how to control it when there was a rescue. Then we climbed the staircase back up to the main meeting room. Once more, we plonked down on the hardwood floor and Hira talked to us about SunSmart. We had to remember all of the words. There were slip, slop, step, rap, slurp, step, and I can't remember the rest. Finally, they let us go to morning tea. While the girls huddled in the corners, the boys played long jump in the sand. They called us in. We watched a movie about recognizing lifeguards. While some people listened, others drew pictures in the dirt. Sam told us about how fast we can be taken into a rip and that if you panic, then you can end up drowning. You should always put your hand up if you are in trouble. Finally, we had an early lunch, got into our togs, and headed towards the beach. Everyone was so happy to stop working and thinking and have fun. First, we played flags on the beach. Flags is a game where you lay down on your stomach with your chin in your hands, and when Hira shouted go, you got up and ran to grab a flag. On the other side, if you didn't get a flag, you were out. I lay down and concentrated on the flag. When Hira and I shouted go, I jumped up and headed towards the flag with many other girls and sand flying everywhere. I dived for the closest flag and stood up in triumph, folding the flag high. My friends came and slapped me on the back as I walked up to the next race. Sadly, I didn't get a flag the next time, but I was still fun to watch everyone on the sideline. Then it was time for boogie boarding. We split into two groups, and I was with Amy and Danica and set off towards the water. Danica, Amy, and I didn't want to use a boogie board, so we decided to do free swimming. As we waded into the water, the parents told us that we had to stay within the human border they had made for us. Suddenly, I felt a pulling on my legs. I grabbed onto Amy's hand, and we watched as a huge wave came and crashed down on us. As we walked back up the beach, Hira taught us how to duck dive, and we had a freezing cold shower, got changed, and hopped back on the bus. 1.5 hours later, we arrived back at BBI. I learned lots at Bethel's Beach, and hope I can go again someday.